What up, my peoples? First YouTube video. I'm Mawlo with Mawlo Inc. I decided to do a voiceover today because we had a lot of background music and we don't want to get flagged so early. But before I speed this video up, because we're going to be doing a lot of line work on the numbers, stippling in the beads and so forth. My needles, I use a seven liner tight, and then a 9 curve mag bug pin, both by Stigma. And then for my ink cups, so for my darkest darks, I use Intense Zipper Black. That works for me. A lot of people use Dynamic Triple Black, but I use Zipper. It's darker for me. But my second cup, I use my mid-tone, which was Dynamic, the regular one, and I put 10 drops in this one. The third cup, I put 4 drops, and then the last cup, I put 1 drop, all mixed down with witch hazel. Now, depending on, just to touch bases on this real quick, depending on the reference picture and the client's skin tone determines my drop set every time. So it's always going to change. And like I said, it depends on those 2 factors. But I'm going to speed this part up. And then when we get to the shading part, I'll explain why I use this technique in real time. And yeah, be back. All right, my peoples, my peoples. So the first technique we're gonna do is like a brush stroke. Like picture you having like a painting brush in your hand. Consistent movement is the key. Find a depth. Like I said, don't go too deep in the skin. You can overwork the skin. If you peep right here, right? So I'm using my pinky to kind of leverage my hand. That way I'm not just pressing the needle in too hard or too deep. And then I'm consistent with the motions. So as I make these back and forth strokes, I curve the machine to flow with the picture itself because it's a curvature there. This is the 4 drops right here. And then we're going to transition into the lighter depth at the top as it curves. So with the foot being the darkest piece of the paint, I said painting, I'm sorry. With the foot being the darkest piece of the tattoo, I decided to make the other side of it lighter. So kind of like a balance. Kind of add a little, it's kind of complement it, so to speak. But right here, I'm finna do a little whip shading, darken this bottom part, but still add a little highlight towards the feet area, not too close to it because we have to make that dark. Same brush stroke technique, smoothing it out for us. And then I believe after I've finished this part, once I smoothen this, then I'm gonna drop into the 1 drop and knock the top part off. But yeah, consistency, that's all it is. Consistent strokes. The faster you move, it's more so like a stippling technique. Even with a mag, you'll get mag lines, things of that sort. But consistent, smooth, needle depth stays the same. Your motion stays the same. And just don't overwork the skin. So right here is when we use the 1 drop. And look, turning the machine as I go. Consistent strokes. I cannot preach that enough. Like, that is the key to a smooth tattoo. But we're going to speed this part up because we just smoothing it out. Same technique throughout this whole piece, pretty much, if I'm not mistaken, is the brush stroke. Smooth, consistent lines. We may get a little stippling action in the end. But when I see something else touch on, I'll jump back in. But for the time being, I'm going to go ahead and speed this part up. So we started working on the foot, and we pretty much did the same techniques throughout this whole piece, honestly. Consistent brushstroke techniques. I forgot the actual technical terminology in the tattoo world, but if it quacks, you know. But for this, it was a little difficult because it was more so like a portrait. I had to follow the actual structure of the foot because that's an identity. It's like a footprint, you know, like a fingerprint or so. And that was the main concept of the piece itself. We had to get that down to the T's. I'm mad I don't have a better angle for you. But just to go over what I did, I started off with the lightest tone in the picture itself. So I think I used a 4 drop. Yeah, I used the 4-drop throughout the whole piece, lined everything up, made the 4-drop darkest in the areas. I followed the picture to the T with the 4-drop. And then as I got the layers down, so the stencil disappeared, then we actually added the darker tones, mapped out the lines in the foot. But I don't think we got a good angle on this one, so I'm going to speed it up as well. All right, so we actually have a better angle of this, better than before, let's say. But for this technique that I'm using is actually perfect. So I'm just using the tip of my mag, and I'm just bouncing it right on those lines, paying close attention to the reference, because we can't make a mistake on this at all. But just ever so lightly, just bouncing it. It's going to give me the impression of a line, but it's not going to be as harsh and just, you know, it's going to be as soft, and I can blend it out. Another thing I want to touch bases on, this stencil stuff that I use is, what is it? Inkjectrum, green gold. The best stencil stuff I've ever came across, honestly. You can see for yourself, I'm wiping literally with green soaps, with water, and it's still there. But we're just going to use this bouncing technique and whip shading throughout this piece for the harsher lines. And then later on, we'll go back to our brush motion to kind of smoothen those lighter areas. You see the patches in the stencil, but the stencil didn't come out as good as it should have, honestly. So we had to pay close attention to the actual piece itself. Like I said, we're doing a portrait at this point. We just painting on the skin. Really and truly. Starting light, building those tones up, paying close attention to the reference picture. Turning that mag side to side. Brush stroke motion right here. So every time you see me stop, I'm taking a look at the reference. Bouncing the needle just to get those little tones in there, build up. Don't overwork the skin, and that's the thing. I'm kind of floating the needle on the skin, which is giving me more passes. I'm not traumatizing the skin too much. I'm literally just stippling all this in, and you see how fast I'm moving as well. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and speed this up as well. We damn near done. We just gotta add the red, and that's more line work, but I'll tap back in if I see something else. But for the most part, we just paying attention to the reference right there on the table, and we taking it slow. Literally, we taking it slow. But we'll be back. So now I'm going back into it, and I'm just adding the dark areas, fixing them up. My bad. But just adding the dark areas, fixing them up, smoothing everything out. you'll see the difference between the light transitions that I went over first and when I saturated more with more darks. But the bottom of the foot, you can't really see the tones itself. But it's two tones. It's the dark, the zipper black that I was telling you guys about. And then it's the 10 drops down there. So when it heals, it's going to heal up much nicer or much smoother. And then we transition up to the lighter tones. And I think right here I'm using the 10 drop. The zipper was way too dark for these. And whip shading down, bringing it in. I like a clean area, so that's why I told y'all about my stencil stuff. Like that, put it on the skin, give it about 10 minutes, 20 minutes the most, you know, and it's staying there. Unless you scrub it with alcohol or some craziness, but it's staying there. But still, back to this, we following the portrait itself. Let's just call it what it is at this point. But we following the reference, like I said, as a portrait. Like there's no mistakes. Take it slow, build those tones up, smoothing everything out, and pay attention to the skin. Like you don't have to. You're not drilling hammers here, you know. Like take your time. Maneuver your machine, and understanding your machine is a big thing for me. It took me a while. I think I went through 3 machines until I found the Mastech Pro, which I'm actually using now, and I love it. Although I know there's more than likely a better machine out there, but I've gotten comfortable with this machine now that I'm just kind of able to do exactly what I want to do. So I don't want to switch up as of right now, but I would say to you, this is a great machine for beginners, even experienced artists. I'm sorry, I had a slow moment there. My bad. But it is a great machine to me. The people I watch on YouTube uses it. Yeah, it's a great machine, but it's not as expensive as most of the crazy machines as well. But I will say it is strong. I use the battery pack on the last level or the lowest level, which is 6, I believe. And yeah, just take my time. Like I said, that pinky is always there. You see that pinky always there for leverage. But yeah, for the most part, we done with this. We just gonna keep building up the tones, work it back and forth, keep my work area clean, that way I can see what I'm doing, and just follow the reference. I can't stress that enough. Follow your reference. Pay attention to consistency. And above all, like I said, understanding your machine. It takes time. It takes practice. Grab some fake skin. Jot a reference down. And understanding lighting. Like, just practice. You get better over time. You learn more as you do. I'm not saying go just get random people to, tattoo on, but get you some fake skin, get your apprenticeship, pull up some YouTube videos. I'm self-taught, so I learned through watching more people than I've actually been in a shop. But yeah, now on my own, I still watch YouTube videos, and now I'm in a position where I can actually give back. So I hope you guys like this. Please like and subscribe. It will do justice for the channel. And I'm going to start dropping some more tutorials with line work, stippling. I'm going to buy some fake skin, and I'm going to do some tutorials as well. If you have any suggestions, jot it down in the comments. I'm here for it. But yeah, I'm going to speed the rest of the video up. And I appreciate y'all for painting with Mawlo today. Or tattooing, I should say. All right, see y'all another time. So real quick with this, I used my lightest tone, and just did some lines, followed the angle itself, and where my darks was. This will give you like a mirror effect almost. But yeah, just follow your lines, consistent strokes, follow your tones, where it's dark. And remember, we're using the lightest tone. You see how that skin is flared up in red? Don't overwork the skin. Don't overwork the skin. Give it time to heal. Settle down, and then you'll be able to see the actual effects of it. But yeah, I think that's it for real, for real. I know, like I said, we finna do the red real quick, and then at the end you'll get a quick little glance of the finished piece. I don't think I have any good pictures, but yeah, we'll see.